Amber.
And this is Tom.
And welcome to Something to Celebrate. Glad you're with us today. So excited.
Yes.
It is a sunshiny fall day today.
It is.
I really was excited. There was one thing I wasn't excited back this morning.
What's that?
Is I had all my lawn cleaned by my lawn guy yesterday, and it was completely covered in leaves today.
Oh, no. Welcome to fall.
I'm like, it kind of feels like a mom who's going into their kid's room and they're like, oh, trees, why can't you just pick up your leaves?
There you go. There you go. Clean up after yourself. Now, that would just be spooky.
Yeah, that would be a bit spooky.
Yeah.
So tell turning over a new leaf. The comedy just keeps coming.
Oh, no. He's here all day, folks. Watch out.
So what word of the day are we celebrating?
Well, actually, kind of looking forward to winter. We have a great noun, apricity.
Apricity.
Apricity is the warmth of the sun in winter. And also, coming up, speaking of wintry words, Hayamal is a word that means of or relating to winter. So a synonym for Hayamal would be wintry.
Oh,
Why do we come up with so many words for the very same
Hayamal.
thing?
All you do is have to say Haya.
Hayamal.
Hayamal.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So that's just a fancy word, obsolete word for wintry, but
Yes.
maybe we can resurrect it.
Love it. And we have a natural solution today.
Yes, I heard heard Matt earlier talking about fish oil. It's a product that we've heard about for heart health is fish oil. Natural Solutions offers an exceptional product known as Super Strength ARSNL Omega-3 fish oil. It's guaranteed to contain the highest quality and purity of any fish oil available anywhere. Not all fish oils created equally. The source, the purity, and the density of DHA make a major difference in the quality of fish oil that you ingest in your body. This is a high-quality, lemon-flavored, and is perfect for men, women, and children. High potency and ultra-pure. Get your omega-3 fish oil at www.naturalsolutionstore.bz.
That's awesome. Now, before we go into, Tom, your list of something to celebrate, I have to say happy Guy Fawkes Bonfire Night to all my friends across the pond.
Yep.
It is the day to catch things on fire, you know?
Yeah, and that dates back to...
Like literally.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's just thwarting of the gunpowder plot in Parliament. Guy Fawkes, they caught him. They caught Guy Fawkes.
Trying to blow up Parliament, was it?
Yes, it's trying to blow up Parliament, and they celebrate by having bonfires and fireworks, just like we have on the July the 5th. But they take little scarecrows and burn them, like good old Guy Fawkes.
Yeah, Guy did not come out of that situation very well. Put on trial and executed.
Yeah, and one of the things that they do tonight is, like, one of the favorite meals is you take the jacket potatoes and you put them on your bonfire. So potato, the day of the potato. So don't mix your potatoes with the firework. Just put them in the fire, the campfire, and cook them up. So that's one of the traditional celebratory foods, the potato.
Well, that's great for all the Brits out there. I don't see that becoming a great American holiday, but a big shout out to all those from across the pond.
Yes. So what else are we celebrating in November?
Well, the whole month of November is Aviation History Month, Child Safety Protection Month, National Diabetes Awareness Month, and my favorite, Peanut Butter Lovers Month. Yeah, I'm all about peanut butter. Yeah, my wife just makes sure that I always have some in the house.
Wow.
Now today, November 5, is American Football Day.
Wow.
And for many of us, today is Election Day.
Yeah.
So if you are a registered voter, make sure that you're checking online or checking to see if you have issues that are on the ballot or people that are up for election today.
Yeah.
My mom was a redhead,
Yeah,
so I like this one.
So is my mom. National
Love Your Red Hair Day.
Yes.
And for all of us, National Donut Appreciation Day.
Donut. Now, is the donut, okay, so there's the big thing. The donut with the O-U-G-H and the donut with the D-O nut. Did somebody just get lazy in there?
I think that's probably what happened.
And that's what happened. Okay.
Just dropping out the letters.
Okay,
making
so
it easy.
just to put it into perspective, the proper spelling for donut is D-O-U-G-H.
Because it is from dough.
Dough and nut.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
And on this day in 1895, the first U.S. patent was granted for an automobile to George B. Selden for a gasoline-driven car. So the first patent for a gasoline-driven car. And, you know, we all remember John F. Kennedy,
Yes.
the 35th President of the United States. But today, John F. Kennedy in 1946 was elected to the U.S. House of Representatives.
Oh, wow.
So we don't really think about his political career. Normally, I don't normally think about it until
Yeah.
we hear him being president. But he started off in 1946 in the House of Representatives. And 1956, and this was a great day, Nat King Cole Show debuts on NBC. This was the first variety program to be hosted by
I
an
love
African
Nat King
American.
Cole.
Yes,
I love him.
Wonderful. And a shout out happy birthday to Tatum O'Neal, born in 1963. Art Garfunkel, of Bridge Over Troubled Waters fame.
Yes, I love
1941
Simon
he was
Garfunkel.
born, and Ike Turner was born in 1931.
Keep on. Big Will, keep on.
Boy, we sang so many of those
Yeah. Yeah.
Simon and Garfunkel songs back in the day.
I know. It is. Simon and Garfunkel is like classic. I love it. I have a Say Grace segment. I don't know how many of you have visited Branson Landing.
Love Branson
Do you
Landing.
love Branson Landing? Well, there's a new restaurant on Branson Landing. If you haven't been to Branson Landing, probably in the past, I don't know, 6 months, there's a lot of changes on Branson Landing, and one of them is the new Paula Dean's Family
Yes.
Restaurant. So, the top seller in the restaurant is fried chicken, of course, Paula Dean, oil and butter. Oil and butter. Can you do oil and butter? Can you do Paula Dean, Matt?
Put some oil and some butter.
And I would just say, we tried to go to Paula Dean's a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I would just say, give yourself plenty of time.
Yes.
It kind of reminds me of like a Cracker Barrel, where you just put your name in, and they have a nice little store for you to shop in.
Yes.
So it's just it's a nice place to go and kind of visit and shop around while you're waiting.
Yeah.
But boy, the lines were long.
Yes.
But you know what that means?
It's good
It's
food.
a great place to eat.
Yeah. So, yeah, and what did you eat when you were there? Did you eat fried chicken?
Actually, we were on a tight schedule,
Or
so
you just
we had
didn't?
to go down to another place there on the landing.
Yeah.
We waited around for a few minutes, and there were like 12 of us.
I know.
And we had some place
It's
that we had
crazy.
to get back to.
It is. It gets
just-
pretty crazy down there, and especially. I just thought they're just putting up Christmas. Christmas at the landing. So
Yep.
that's exciting.
And I've heard good reviews, so just make sure you give yourself
Yeah.
plenty of time.
And they're all decked out for Christmas already,
Wow.
Paula Dean's restaurant. So excited. Well, I have some exciting things that I brought in just for Jay, because Jay, I just wanted you to experience one of the ultimate fruitcakes of all time.
Jay's the ultimate fruitcake.
Jay, the ultimate fruitcake of all time, ever in the history of America. And Matt, you're gonna have to come too, because you're gonna come up here too. And I don't know if so I fell in love with this cake when I lived in England. And it is the Italian Christmas cake, the panettone. And believe it or not, you started finding panettone in the most, when I got back, like all these different stores, like department stores. Now you can get it at Kohl's, Ross.
Huh.
So this is
My question is how do you fit Tony in the can?
I know, exactly. So I'm going to show you. This is a very interesting kind of.
You have to open it upside down?
Well, I do because it's a beautiful.
Wrapped in paper.
Because it's British. You
Or
have
is
to
it
do it
cloth?
backwards.
No, it's Italian, but it's still. But
Italiano.
Italian.
Italiano.
It says just celebrate.
Bellissima.
I'm gonna have to grab my big knife here, my sharp knife here that I keep. So okay.
Italiano.
Okay, so I mean, literally, you open this and it smells so good. Okay, I'm gonna just.
It sure does look good.
It's got fruit jerky in it.
It has fruit jerky. It has.
You don't like dried fruit?
I like some dried fruit.
Or is this dried? Is this
It,
from...
it has like.
It looks
has-
pretty
Dehydrated.
fluffy.
Smell that. Give it a smell. Give it a smell, Matt. Smell this. Smell that.
Smells like a fruit cake.
Yes. Are you sure? Tom,
Yeah.
you can smell it. It doesn't have any carbs. I mean,
I don't know. I think that Death Wish coffee I had on our show this
Smelling
morning
it
might have
doesn't have
burned my
carbs?
nose.
the smelling doesn't have carbs.
Not really.
Okay,
Smelling doesn't
so,
have carbs.
so it has this lovely paper around it that we kind of pull off. Now, this is the fun thing of this is it is the Italian Christmas cake, but
It's got rum, doesn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, you can.
smell
That's
it?
what you can smell. Yeah.
It's good. it's a Yuletide treat.
Rum is good.
Now, is there alcohol content?
No.
Okay.
I actually
Yeah, because we're recovering alcoholics here.
okay.
Did you know that?
You probably should keep that in mind. No
Okay,
liquor shots on your
I
show.
won't bring the show. I won't bring any, spiked.
We won't be trying any
I won't-
scotch.
No, I won't want a big piece, just a tiny
Oh
piece. Is
my
all I can't.
Okay.
I never liked fruitcake as a kid, so this is a test to see if
Okay,
it's
this,
true what they
you
say.
might like it. Okay, so what I do on Christmas Day is I make my French
Oh
toast out of
my.
this.
Oh, French
I
toast. It
bet
might
that's
actually be really good.
amazing.
No, you know what?
Yeah.
I might actually eat it if it's French toast.
You might? Okay.
I might.
You can taste it before you even bite it.
Mm-hmm.
Just even getting it in your mouth, it's got the
Mm-hmm.
aroma.
It smells like, what is that? What kind of fruit is that?
I can taste the rum.
Can you?
That is very interesting.
It's not going to have, it's not like, oh, I can.
It's not going to send you over the edge, Jay, is it?
No.
Okay.
I won't get into what the edge was like when I was headed down.
You can definitely taste the orange zest in it.
Nice
Mm.
orange.
I could eat that whole thing.
Okay,
I
so
would
this
eat the whole
fruit cake
thing.
is a little better than the ones I've had. Because it's not super heavy on the fruit. But a lot of fruit cakes are just basically just a whole bunch of fruit with just a little bit of bread.
Yeah.
You know, but it isn't bad. I probably wouldn't go out of my way to buy it though, but that's just me.
Yeah.
But
Well, what I like to do is on Christmas Day, slice this up, do some, cook it, the French toast. I put it egg and eggnog and cinnamon, and I dip it in there
that's sorcery.
and
So
put it in there.
I
Egg and eggnog.
never even thought of putting eggnog in with egg
and
instead
a bit
of.
of cinnamon.
Instead of the milk, yeah.
that
It's-
is brilliant.
It's amazing. And then I take the maple syrup, which I get the real maple syrup at Christmas, and heat it up a little bit till it crystallizes, pour it over, and it turns into this like crunchy type coating.
Caramelized.
Yeah. And I don't cook, but that day I'm a really good cook.
That is a great idea. For
Yeah.
that.
Now, do you have to order that online or something?
No. Actually, the funny thing is I like this. They start selling them. Ross, Big Lots. You can get this cake for $6.99. It's an awesome
What?
little
It's actually more like a sponge cake with
Yeah.
fruit in it.
It's like a sponge.
It's
almost
delicious.
like bread. It reminds me
Yeah,
of
bread. Yeah, like
it reminds me of raisin bread almost.
it's like
Yeah.
Italian bread.
Yeah, so very delicious.
I guess
I
technically
prefer
it
the
is
more. I
Italian bread.
prefer it to be more loaded with fruit.
You like the loaded fruit.
Yes.
Okay.
Do they have a loaded fruit version?
No,
Oh,
but they
man.
have a chocolate covered one that has
What?
orange through it. So the different kinds of panettone. Have you had panettone?
Yes.
Oh, it's so good, isn't it? Okay, well, I'll have to give you a slice. But it's really good. So if you want some sort of international treat for your Christmas or just any day of the year, you can.
So clearly, you only bring food that you endorse.
Yes, I do.
I
do.
mean, because
I
it's
eat on a
always
regular
also
basis.
good. I feel like I'm always using the same words to describe the stuff that you bring.
It's
which is
pre-screened.
delicious.
Pre-screened.
Yeah, good stuff.
Okay, well, not as every day for you.
No, it's not every day for me, but it is better than most fruitcakes I've tasted.
And the French toast idea is brilliant.
I do wanna try that.
I should bring in some French toast.
That
the
has got to be
Christmas.
done.
That has got to be done.
It does.
So I will. I'll have to bring in some.
You
French
can
toast.
actually come in early and make it up here. We've got a hot plate.
We have a hot plate and a nice one of them gold pans or whatever they're called.
Oh, that's
Copper
awesome.
skillet.
Copper
Okay,
skillet.
well that's my next. I don't know if you want me cooking in public, Matt. That might.
We're not in public.
You could do it
exciting.
off camera and just have it ready
Do
for
you
the
need
show.
me to do anything?
Hey, go over. You can.
Thank
take
you, everybody,
that-
for letting
take-
us sit in.
Yeah, take that over there and.
Whoa,
slice
hey,
it off.
hey, ho, whoa.
Yeah, I don't want to
Look how the size of that loaf. It's just
It's huge.
amazing.
It's not like a little dehydrated Brit.
No,
I had a
it
friend who
isn't.
dropped a butcher knife in the kitchen and it went straight through their foot and pinned it to the floor.
Okay, we won't do that, Jay.
Oh,
Oh,
that's okay. We didn't need those headphones anymore.
well, that's exciting. So go out and get some panettone just to have the experience, and go to one of the stores. As I said, Ross or Big Lots, or sometimes you can find it at Walmart. But it's
But
a
you
very
can probably order them.
yeah. You can order
Online
them
if you want.
online, and it's really exciting that you can get them at such a good price.
And try that holiday French toast
Holiday
idea.
French toast with eggnog. Actually,
That's
eggnog.
happening. That's happening. this year.
Eggnog on any cinnamon swirl French toast. Just try it, friends. Okay, we're gonna get our next interview on the line, Miss Janelle Rowden. She's coming back to the show with us, and we're gonna talk to her. Author, speaker, overcoming hurtful words, and important about that coming into the holidays. You have to make sure you don't say hurtful
Hello,
words.
and thanks for calling Janelle Reardon and Heartlift Coaching.
Okay. Hey, Janelle.
Hey, good morning.
Good
Sorry about
morning. No worries. Thank you for coming on Something to Celebrate today.
that. I love something to celebrate because there is always something to celebrate.
Well,
always.
we were just eating Italian
I actually
Christmas
saw that. I was
cake.
very sad I was not participating in that.
I know.
Feast.
It is really, really good. Have you ever had panettone?
I have, and I do like it, but
The
yeah,
French toast.
tis the season.
French
Yeah.
toast.
Oh,
it's
okay.
so good, so good. Well, we are excited for you to join us. I know that this is the holiday season.
It's coming.
It is
Here
coming. Janelle is the author of Overcoming Hurtful Words and speaker, and she has joined us before on the show.
Yes.
Yes, so
and
much
that,
fun.
It's exciting to have you back because a lot of going into the holidays is make sure you don't say this or do this
Yes,
in
I
the
know.
corporate setting of corporate setting of family, because
Yes.
sometimes you're just trying to keep the peace around the table. So, Janelle, I'd love you to speak some wisdom into overcoming hurtful words in the holidays.
Well, preparing for the holidays, and I've got it tends to increase my client load for sure. both before, pre, and after.
Yes.
Because it's just a lot of people in one space,
Yes.
and a lot of personalities, a whole lot of personalities.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I actually had a client yesterday, and I felt like it was great prep for today.
Mm-hmm.
In talking about Thanksgiving and what had happened a couple years ago. And so she was just like, I just didn't go. I wasn't invited, blah, blah, blah. So there
Wow.
tends to be a lot of grudges that can surface.
Yes.
And we all know that grudges, are for those who insist that they're owed something.
Yes.
Forgiveness, however, is for all of us, and we need to be able to move on. So I prepared a couple years ago, I prepared something called A Little Peace and Calm. A little Calm Your Crazies.
Oh,
Calm
wow.
the Crazies. And so I would encourage all our listeners to just go to my website. I'll make sure it's real visible and clear
Yes.
for everyone, because we're not going to have, we can't go in depth today. But
Yes.
if you want to go in depth, then it's a short little study that will just prepare your heart and calm all the crazies.
Yes.
So I think, Amber, when you first asked me about this, I felt like the most critical aspect of preparing for the holiday hustle, preparing for the holiday hoopla, whatever
Yes.
you want to call it, is to prepare your heart.
Yes.
I'm always going to go there in Overcoming Hurtful Words, and it's the premise of all of my work is Proverbs 4:23. Above all else,
Yeah.
guard your heart, for it influences absolutely everything in your life.
Yes.
So in order to prepare for the emotional atmosphere of family holidays,
Yes.
I think we're zeroing in on that this morning,
Yes.
is to prepare your own heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I developed a little acronym that really helped me so much. So
Yes.
I'd like to share that if that
Yes.
would be okay.
Yes. Share that.
So it's CALM, C-A-L-M.
Mm-hmm.
And I say C is to connect and check in with your cognition. Okay, cognition's a very big word for your thought processes.
Yes.
And most of us have loops in our we have little feedback loops, and we have triggers, and we have Uncle Joe says this, or Aunt Sue says this, or sister da-da-da, or there's a look across the room, there's a tension in the air. And
Yes.
so this is once again where you have to be vigilant, like adamant, and prepare yourself for being very aware of how you are in the room, in the space.
Yes.
And prepare yourself to not react, but to respond. So there's
Yes.
prep involved here. It's like you prepping the meal, right? We
Yes.
go to the grocery store, we buy all the ingredients. So we're going to the emotional health grocery store.
Yes.
And we are gathering emotional regulation, and we are gathering healthy thought processes. We are
Yes.
gathering who do I have a grudge against?
Yes.
Maybe I need to sit down and get quiet and really think about that. Maybe I've hurt someone and I need to ask, for forgiveness.
Yes.
Being very proactive.
Yes.
I know that's a lot. That's a tall order.
Yes.
It's a very tall order. But connecting in, preparing your heart, preparing your mind. How am I doing? Maybe you need a counseling session before. Maybe you need to spend some time in quiet.
Yes.
So any thoughts on that, or I'll just move on?
I think that a lot of times, and the thing is, a lot of times we prepare ourselves in the wrong way for that. And we prepare
Yes.
ourselves with strife interactions. We prepare ourselves with the conversation we're going to have with that person when we get there, because we know
Yes.
that they're going to say this word, and then you're prepared for that. So calm is,
Right.
having that and being connected to how you might react and saying, okay, God, I'm not going to react that way. I'm just going to leave it to this. And I've kind of, instead of, connected, is if I anticipate an interaction, I might say, okay, I kind of anticipate this. So when it happens, I'm not going to see that it's a big deal as much. So I prepare
Exactly. You're going to
myself.
diffuse it in a sense.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
so
just
many of those
diffuse-
triggers are very predictable.
Yeah.
You know
So
it's coming.
predictable.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
coming.
It can be just one word. It can be just one.
It can be a
thing,
look.
And it's so funny because even I love my mom, but she lives in the old generation. So sometimes she says stuff that's unfiltered, and you're like,
Yes.
oh, Mom, I love you,
Yes.
but don't say that.
Yes, I know.
And she's
Yeah.
not the kind of person to take offense to it or something like that. She's just,
Oh, that's
you
good.
know, older and unfiltered, and I kind of have to expect
Yes.
that. And I prepare to leave that situation in a lighthearted way, anywhere.
Yes.
Even if we go out to a meal and she's in a place that I'm like, okay, we don't say those things in this.
in public, right? And you know,
But she's,
that's
and it's not that she's trying to be mean or anything. It's just,
no, that's good.
it's
That's
just,
good.
and I have to like understand a little bit about people. So connectness is very important. And the next one, share the next one, Janelle.
Well, I want to say one more thing about
Yeah.
what you just said because I have adult children. My oldest is 33. I have twins that are 29. You know, they all have their husbands and wives and that kind of thing. So, you know, now the expansion gets wider, and where you're inviting people you don't really, you know, you haven't known them. Now they're mates, and they're coming into the crazies with you. And so we have, as I guess as a byproduct of the work that I do, in my writing and in my practice, you know, it has overflowed into my family, and we have really had some serious conversations, hard conversations, and that's not easy to do. And I'm once again, these are all very tall orders to be very mature, but to, you know, to give each other permission and hold each other accountable, but it's all in love and acceptance. So, I think it's real important. My husband and I discovered this amazing thing this summer when we were reading through the Gospels, and we watched Jesus and Peter. So we really zeroed in how Jesus and Peter related.
Wow.
And after we walked through their time on this earth together, there's so many things that petulant Peter did, right?
Yes.
Jesus, my husband just looked at me and he said, you know what? Jesus just let Peter be Peter.
Yes.
He really just let him be Peter.
Yes.
And in that, though, he accepted Peter for who he was,
Uh-huh.
but he held Peter accountable. Peter, I'm going to build my church on you. And then
Yeah.
he turns around and says, get behind me, Satan.
Yes.
And then he says, Peter, you're going to deny me 3 times, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to love you.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to feed you breakfast on the beach.
Yes.
And the one thing that he didn't do was he didn't shame. He never shamed anyone. Jesus
No.
never, his language is grace, grace, and more grace. And so if you can extract anything out of a family system, it would be that kind of shame language, or that kind of not letting people be who they are,
Yes.
but also being able to hold people accountable.
Yes.
So,
And
you know, as
honestly, that's the thing is, honestly, some people don't know what they're doing. They can't even.
no,
They
no,
don't. And I
no
think I should.
emotional intelligence.
There-
No, it's so, I'm
And
pounding
it's like,
the table.
and it's like, you know, sometimes we can't. I mean, we can't judge people, but sometimes we just can't, because we can't see how they're, you know, they're seeing through their eyes. Logic and reason in our eyes is not the same, and some people can't even see what they're doing. And it's so funny
No.
because sometimes
No.
I don't even hear myself unless I record and play it back, and I'm like, oh gosh, that was so not right, you know. And sometimes I wish I could see myself on YouTube, and I'm sure that I would be more mindful, because sometimes you're just
Yes.
not mindful of how
And that's
you
definitely, that's going to be
interact.
the M. You hit M, you're way ahead of the game.
Okay. Well, I don't want to be ahead of the game. So what?
Well, so A would be address the crazies.
Oh,
okay. So
okay.
in light of what I just said, letting Peter be Peter, we also have to address and hold people accountable. So my father was an alcoholic. I've shared that so many times. And once I started having children, and he would be, you know, in his alcoholism on the holiday, I just decided to take the holiday into my own hands, and I hosted it so I
Wow.
could have some control. But you have to address the crazies. You know, you can't let someone come in and toxify and ruin your holiday. You really, you just can't. And so I address that in Overcoming Hurtful Words, that there's a time for tough tension. There's a tension between tough and tender love.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been in that in my family so often, where you're not going to ruin my family's holiday anymore.
Yes.
I love you deeply. Yes, we are blood.
Mm-hmm.
But I now have a new family that I'm trying to raise in a better way.
Yeah.
And I can't have that toxicity crossing my threshold and
Wow.
ruining every single holiday. And that's hard.
Yeah, because you have to have the conversation.
You do, and you have to have it.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to, but
Yeah.
you're going to ruin, and you're going to allow that dysfunction. I like to call it unhealthy.
Yeah.
You know, we all in our family, we're just like, that's not healthy. And,
Yeah.
you know, my children are saying, please don't say that to me anymore. That really bothers me. That makes me anxious when you bring up that from the past.
Exactly.
And that's not easy. I mean,
No.
I'm not saying it's a party,
Yeah.
you know, but you can quietly,
Yeah.
and you can set some ground rules and standards and address the crazies before the crazies show up.
Well, and Janelle, I know that some of the things is if you never address the crazy, you don't give people the opportunity to recognize how that impacts the group, as well as you
Yes.
don't give them opportunity to change so they can be better loved and included.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head, and I know that you understand this so
Yeah.
well. You know that, and I was really doing a study on the word crazy last night, because I can get really crazy,
Uh-huh.
but it can also just be you have unlimited enthusiasm. You know,
Yes.
so it's just you just want to create an atmosphere in which every person is seen and loved and valued for who they are. But here's a boundary, you know, and it's important to establish healthy emotional boundaries, and lots of help on that. Just go to boundaries.com. You know,
Yes.
it's like,
Yes.
if
I mean,
you need to understand how to do that,
yeah. You know,
It's there
I
for
think
you.
it's that's the thing is like you can actually help people. I mean, you can understand and not be caught in the I'm gonna kind of silently deal with the dysfunction, and actually
Yeah.
help people kind of overcome and by putting boundaries in, by loving
Yes.
people a little bit more from a distance, and then understanding if they can't operate on the same plane and they can't be involved. That's okay. I think that's what I had to
Yes.
say. I've had to say to a lot of people, if this is a hard thing to work with these boundaries, you don't have to work in this, and it's okay. I'm not going to be offended by you, or I'm not going to, because it's just what it is. And I think that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
like having that, just letting that go, letting that go. And it's hard to give yourself permission to allow people to be distanced from you. You know,
yes.
you have to give yourself
And-
permission.
And I think one thing that I've really come to realize, and a lot of it was through writing Overcoming and then writing the next book that's coming out soon, was that there needs to be one, I call it a heart lifter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there needs to be one person who is in the center of that space, who is doing their work, their inner work. So perhaps they're a few steps ahead in maturity or in emotional intelligence,
Yes.
relationships, and who can say, you know, maybe that's not the right thing to say right
Yeah.
now, you know,
Yeah.
and have love, but there needs to be like a monitor.
Exactly.
You know, call it a monitor, but I like to call it a heart lifter, a person who creates safe spaces in which everyone feels safe, loved, and seen.
That's awesome.
And
Janelle,
so, yeah.
I
go on.
want to, I really want to continue this. Can you come back? I mean, can you come back in the next couple of weeks and we can continue? I don't want to like.
Yeah, we'll stop on CNA and we'll come back.
CNA, and we'll come back in a couple of weeks, and and so we keep these fresh in a series of having to
I like
overcome
that.
hurtful words at the holidays,
Sure.
and tell
And
us
maybe some
really
people can give some
feedback.
questions.
Yeah,
Questions and
Any
feedback.
questions
Dialogue.
about
Yeah.
overcoming hurtful words, even situations you might have to overcome feel free to send those in and
yep.
email the show, and we'll make sure that we get those on the show. Tell us really quick about the new book.
The new book is Stronger Than Ever, 9 Tools to Fortify Your Emotional Health.
Ooh.
So we're going to get some EQ going, some emotional intelligence within the church, within the faith community. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. It's so good.
That is so exciting, and we're going to put all the links. But I'm so excited, Janelle, for you to come back, and what we're gonna talk about these next letters. Maybe we need to go through a letter a day, a letter an episode, because these are so. I mean, it's so intricate. It really is, and
I say that all the time. Emotional and relational health is intricate. It's layer upon layer, and it's not easy, and that's why people don't do it.
Yes, well,
because it's just like too hard. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. JanelleRowden.com. I love Janelle because she's such an amazing writer, speaker, such great insight, and writes for Leading Hearts. I love one of her new articles in the magazine. When did we forget to dream big? I love it. She has such great insight. I'm going to actually put that link up to the art in the comments below, because you need to read that article. Thank you, Janelle, for joining us today.
Welcome. Such
All
a
right.
blessing.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And Amber, while you're dialing our next interview, just real quick, I want to let our folks out there know that you can actually read the first chapter of Overcoming Hurtful Words for free.
Yeah.
Just by going to JanelleRardon.com, JanelleRardon.com, and you can read the first chapter. You kind of get a little sample.
Yeah, and it's exciting because she does have samples, and she has all this stuff for the holidays, coming up for the holidays, that's available.
Great resource.
For resources. And I'm going to get Marlene Hawk on the line. Hoke. Sorry, I'm going to say her name wrong about every time, probably.
Hi there.
Hi, Marlene. How are you doing?
I am good. And you pronounce my last name Southern Hawk.
Hawk. Okay, because I almost called you Hawk. So I didn't know how Southern that needed to be.
Or if you roll it around and spit it out.
If you were in Britain, I'd say Hoke.
That would be fine, because I'd be having tea with you.
Well, Marlene, just an amazing lady, Bible teacher, speaker, writer, and great insight and she's also a member of the Advanced Writers and Speakers Association, and she is has great insights into women in the Bible. I always get fascinated on these topics because to learn about these ladies and learn about their lives and get that insight. I want to know, Marlene, how did you get interested in studying this specific topic of women and their impact in the Bible?
Thank you. I've been doing this, I think, for about 8 or 10 years, and it's much like, I guess, walking in the forest and something on the ground floor interests you, and so you bend over to look at it closer.
Uh-huh.
I had a series of books called the All Series by Herbert Lockyer, and one of them was called All the Women of the Bible. Well, he is a great storyteller, and that's what started me. He listed all of the named women in the Bible, and he also talked about the unnamed women, and he put them in alphabetical order. And so I thought, what would it be like if they were in Bible order? And so I couldn't find it on the internet, so I put them in Bible order, and that kind of started me out on my journey. And I wondered, what was there about Bible women that I could piggyback on that would kind of make it faster for women to learn all these truths that God had shown me. And it was patterns. Women intuitively, instinctively use patterns. They use patterns of repetition. If the baby doesn't get up and do the same thing every day, we're in trouble. If, we use the pattern of contrast. So there are lots of patterns in Bible women, and that's kind of the direction that I took. And it's been a fascinating journey.
Well, you say you put them in Bible order instead of alphabetical order. What are some of the unique things that you found or discovered when you put them in this biblical order and started talking about them?
And it took me a while to kind of come to the front of my mind, but there are 167 named Bible women, according to
Wow.
Herbert Lockyer. It is a great question to ask your pastor, Sunday school teacher. It's a great conversation starter because nobody
Yeah.
knows. I've asked probably for 10 years now.
And now we know. Now we can
Yeah,
stump
now we
our.
know.
Now we have the question we can stump our pastor with.
You're exactly right. And so I put them in order and I numbered them,
Mhm.
and I realized that there were some patterns even in the list.
Mhm.
And so I wrote a little short read ebook, and it's also a paperback book called Hidden in the List. Because even if you just look at the list of named Bible women, you'll see some patterns. And for example, I didn't have to look very far before I realized that women in the Bible are in groups.
Yes.
They are mostly, a lot of them are in groups of twos and then more groups. And it made me realize that women need each other in
Wow.
a desperate way.
Especially
the-
when we go to the bathroom, we need each other.
Because I can't find my way back to the
I've never
restaurant.
figured that one out yet.
We need commentary. This is true. So true. And God designed us that way. And
Yes.
so it makes perfect sense that he put this pattern in the Bible of women being together, Mary and Martha, Naomi and Ruth, I call it Zelophehad's daughters,
Yeah.
just over and over and over again. Sometimes they're not comfortable groups like Sarah and Hagar, but
Yes.
we still learn from them. We learn
Wow.
in groups.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And it's amazing though. I think that it's very it's easy for women to go into small community, and I know if I find myself isolated from my girlfriends, it feels bad. It feels bad, for and the kind of people that are encouraging my mentoring girlfriends and stuff. It really is. We like to travel in community, whether it's close together or virtually.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
And go ahead.
I tell this funny story. When I had my daughter, I was asking my mother-in-law bunches of questions about how to take care of this tiny little thing. And she said, well, it's been 35 years since I've had a baby. Okay, but what's your question? I just needed community.
Yeah, and it's so funny because it is, women, and I know that men have a natural community, but it's hard to travel, I know, without that. What are some unique things maybe, or what is a unique lady that you discovered in your putting together your list that really inspires you?
Right now, I am in the process of writing a Bible study called Divine Drama. Fits right in with Janelle Raridan's book, Overcoming Hurtful Words, because the emotions of Bible women fascinated me. So I'm writing about 6 women, and one of those names is Rizpah, Rizpah.
Oh, wow.
She was King Saul's one and only concubine, and her story. One of the patterns in the Bible is that women experience the worst, the absolute worst that could happen to a woman. And her sons were executed, and they were innocent. And she stayed there and guarded their bodies from the beasts and the birds until the rains came, because they were not allowed to be buried. It was a shameful thing. And so she went through a lot of emotions, but the thing that she's telling us is absolutely amazing. She's telling us how to what to look for in the pit, how to overcome betrayal, telling us what to do. The Bible says that she took sackcloth, which was a sign of mourning, and
credit for her on the rock. You don't have to read very far in the Bible before you realize that God is our rock. He's our fortress, our shield. He's our tower. And a rock is very substantial. He's sufficient for us. She's telling us so many things that I finally just had to step away from the Bible study and make some videos that gave some of this extra stuff about.
Yes.
I've been fascinated with Rizpah for quite a while.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's amazing what she's telling us. And her story is found in 2 Samuel chapter 3 and 2 Samuel chapter 21. It's probably about 10 to 12 verses, but it's absolutely rich with treasures.
That is. I mean, I'm like, there is a strength that I know that getting to uncover some of this stuff of you know, and I know even biblical women fascinate me, like Mary. I mean, I know Mary, the mother of Jesus. She's just, you know, she's right out there, but just hearing, you know, imagining, you know, when you become a mother yourself, especially, knowing the demands, knowing that this call is on your son, and having to kind of let your hands go, and I'm like, phew, that's how that's how I am. I know that, you know, my girls aren't, you know, but I know that my girls aren't you know, they're not called in such the same way, but just having, God has been calling me a little bit more to let my hands go and let them walk in his call, knowing there'll be things I want to run to grab them up, and it is not my place to do so in that situation.
Right.
And you know, it's a hard path that sometimes even mothers have to go through, or friends, to see people struggling around them, because we really take that to heart. We really, a lot of us are fixers. A lot of us want to do, and we take a lot upon our hearts, as we deal with people, and it's hard. And one of the things that God really spoke to me a while ago is, I am not called to be a lifesaver, even though I would like to see myself as that. As a woman, a lot of times we like to save people. Yeah? We like to save our children. We like to save our friends. But we realize we have to be mindful that we are a person, and that we can't take everything. You know, we can't take the weight of the cross. I mean, even though that seems very small, we can't. And across the board. And yet, you know, women have this need to hold things, and we hold things very dear and personal to ourselves. Well, you know, Marlene, tell us about, because the one thing that you do is you share. Tell us about where people can hear your teachings.
Well, I have just begun. In fact, I did it yesterday.
My first video to my YouTube channel. It's just Marlene Hauk, MarleneHouk. And I also have my website, marlenehauk.com. And I'm also posting on the Ruth Project.
The Ruth Project.
Which is a Facebook group for women for Bible studies.
That's awesome.
Excited about that. And then, of course, they can find my little short read book on Amazon. It's called Hidden in a List, and it talks about 3 secrets that women can find from just looking at this list of named Bible women. I was thinking about Janelle Raridan and how her book is Overcoming Hurtful Words. I bought it when it first came out. I'm so grateful
for it. And how we have to walk the tightrope of those exposed feelings at holidays. And I was thinking about Abigail in the Bible. She was Nabal's wife, and he died, and she became King David's wife. And at one point, King David was going to kill Nabal, and diffused his anger. And so she teaches us to diffuse anger and how to walk that tightrope between expressed anger at the holidays.
Yes.
And this thing that I find is that Bible women teach us how to address
that how do we put our hands behind our back and shut our mouth
Yeah.
when our children become adults? How do we do that? The women
Yeah.
of the Bible teach us how to do that.
Well, it's so funny because the Bible does teach us a lot about how we interact with people as women. I tell my husband every time I need something, I go to him as Esther, and you usually make him dinner because you're feeding him.
That's right. That's right.
How can I help you? And then how can I buy these pair of shoes? I mean, literally, you can learn so much from these Bible women, and love what you have. Go out and check out Marlene's teachings. We're going to put the link up and the link to the book up in the description. Check it out, and we're going to have you back as well to share some of your insights and some of your teachings. Just a wealth of stuff for small groups. A lot of people are looking for.
And Marlene is not just a great resource for women. Mm-hmm. We don't want this to be a one-sided thing. This is as I'm listening to you, Marlene, as I've kind of peeked at your website, the topics that you're dealing with, what great insight for men to kind of get a little peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, because I don't know how many resources like that are written for women that actually men need to read to find out how to deal with the women.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's exciting,
definitely.
and not deal.
I
I'm just
found
saying.
that
the
we
unique-
understand
the
each
unique-
other. It
100,000 pages?
used to be. Yeah, my book used to be that.
It's volume 1.
And they're all blank.
We need all the understanding that we can get, all the insight that we can get our hands on.
Yeah. So check out MarleneHawk.com. Hawk.com.
Hawk.
See, I'm telling. I could just
You're
say
learning.
Hawk.com, and great material for small groups, studies, and check that out. Marlene, MarleneHouk.com.
Correct. Right.
That's
right.
awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marlene. Thank you for being on the show today.
And thank y'all. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Good thing about I love the whole idea of drama and also people interacting with people is all different. You get and when you put the heat of the holidays on people, sometimes you find some of the unique things that you don't want to discuss. I think you need to have a do not discuss at the dinner table talk before you have a
Yeah, try that. See how that works.
do not discuss at the dinner table. Have a little listed behind you. So Tom, do you have a final natural solution for us?
I do. CBD capsules. Everybody knows CBD is a buzzword in the natural health industry right now. And Natural Solutions offer CBD in capsule form in 10, 25, and 50 milligram doses. That kind of helps out so you're not having to measure each dose. They provide the same benefits as CBD oils, but without the difficulty of measuring the proper dosage. So CBD supports muscles and joints, reduces inflammation, promotes bone growth, relieves anxiety, reduces blood sugar levels, it's antibacterial, and slows bacterial growth. And you can order your CBD capsules at www.naturalsolutionstore.bz.
.bz. So exciting. Are you going to put up a Christmas tree like in the next couple of weeks?
Well, yes. My wife might be facing some surgery, so Christmas goes up early this year,
Christmas
just
goes
in
up
case
early.
she gets scheduled. We put a Christmas tree in every room of the house.
Christmas tree in every room.
So our big one's a 9-footer.
Big. Well, I
Yep.
love it. I'm going to probably try not to keep my Christmas tree up until Easter this year. That's my goal. So until next time, this is Amber
And this is Tom.
saying step into the sunshine and find something to celebrate today. Take care.